In short, the East African Federation is a proposed union of the six members from the East African Community as a single country. The six nations would be Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, and possibly the Democratic Republic of Congo, making this union the seventh largest country in the world in terms of area, with double the size of the eighth place, and they would also qualify as a contender for the first African superpower. But Congo isn't the only country that showed interest in joining this union. Sudan also applied to join in 2011, right after South Sudan became a member, but due to poor relationships that the country has with its neighbors, South Sudan, Uganda, and Tanzania, its application was rejected soon after. There is also the possibility of Malawi, Somalia, and Zambia to join this growing community, but as is the case with Sudan and Congo, concerns about their instability, records of human rights violations, and history of hostilities between themselves is delaying and in some cases stopping completely the process of unification, which is unfortunate because if all these countries could become one or even just form their own version of the European Union, it will be almost guaranteed that they would develop at lightning speed, with increasing number of investors rushing to the country and qualified jobs going through the roof due to big projects and international companies opening up facilities in the region. Let's compare how much a union can benefit a country by taking as an example Germany from 1999 to 2019. In the span of 20 years, Germany gained 1.9 trillion euros in GDP, almost doubling its GDP to the current value of 3.8 trillion and making it the fourth biggest country by GDP in the whole world, with a GDP per capita of 46,000 US dollars. But how high is this compared to the current GDP per capita of the EAC? Well, some of these countries are quite literally the worst countries in the world in this metric, with Kenya being the only one standing out with a GDP of 5,000 US dollars per capita, while all the other countries, including the proposed Republic of Congo, Somalia, and Malawi, not even being able to reach the value of 3,000 US dollars. In total, the Union would have a GDP of $224 billion, putting it in the 49th place in the world, just below my beloved country Portugal. Speaking of Portugal, it can serve as an example of why not everyone benefits from an union. A study made in February of 2019 by CEP claims that if Portugal had not joined the EU, it was in the trajectory of a much higher GDP growth, suffering an opportunity cost of 40,000 euros per capita. But of course this is all speculation. The truth is that joining economic areas usually leads to a reduction in unemployment, dramatical improvement in living standards, raised incomes, and higher budgets for big projects such as dams, highways, and modern cities, which inevitably leads to higher development rates and energy and cost reduction in multiple sectors. There are reasons to remain hopeful though. East Africa has been the region with fastest GDP growth in the past decades, with values ranging from 5 to 7% in the last 10 years. In the same period, the total GDP of the community rose an astonishing 92% from 106 billion US dollars to 224. And considering that with a free market, common currency, and all countries pushing together with the same aim, the average growth rate of 7.5% per year could easily be surpassed and soon reach values of the three African giants: Nigeria, which has 480 billion, Egypt, which has 396 billion, and South Africa, which has 329 billion. Currently, these six countries already form the so-called East African Community, also known as EAC, but they want to take their relationship to the next step. Their aim consists of four steps. First, forming a customs union, where the trade among member states flows tariff-free, and regardless of which country in the EAC imports a product, the same tariff is paid. Second, a common market, where few duties or none at all are imposed on trade with one another country of the same union, and a common tariff on trades with other countries outside the community. Third, a currency union, meaning all countries would use the same currency, resulting in more stability and increased value for the outside world. And finally, a political union, which will determine a regional constitution shared by all members. Step 1 was completed in 2005, with Rwanda and Burundi joining the efforts in 2007, and Step 2 was agreed by all 5 members in 2010. As for Step 3 and 4, although some progress has been made, there are some complications still, given that every country remains with their own unique currency till this day, and for various reasons, Each currency has experienced different exchange rates throughout recent years, making a calculation for a fair common value pretty complex. If we consider only the 6 current countries, they would form the second most populous country in Africa, with 195 million people, right below Nigeria's 206 million, and the 8th most populous in the whole world. But if we consider that recent proposals were to be accepted, these numbers would get even more impressive. The East African Federation would have a population of more than 380 million people, the GDP of 255 billion, and an area of 8.2 million square meters, making it rise to the third most populous country in the world, the 41st country with the biggest GDP, and the 6th largest country, almost surpassing Brazil in terms of area. Taking into account that the East African shilling was used as currency by Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda up until the 1960s, it would probably be adapted as a new country's currency. The most common native language in the region is Swahili, but in order to help with foreign relationships and appease all the countries with a unique language, the official language would probably be English. Its largest city would most likely be Dar es Salaam, the biggest city of Tanzania, with a current population of 7 million, but this wouldn't be their capital. It already has an established layout, and the capital should be a well-programmed and planned city with its location pleasing the majority of the members, in contrast with Dar es Salaam, which is located all the way in the east, touching the Indian Ocean. So the most popular choice for the capital came out to be Arusha, a smaller city in Tanzania near the Kenya border, where the administrative headquarters for the EAC is already located. With the addition of the Dominican Republic of Kongo, this would mean not only a complete control of what goes in and out by land of the South African countries, but also access to the Atlantic Sea via a small portion of the Congo. This could guarantee that this community has foreseeable growth well into the future, because they wouldn't depend on any other country to trade with the West, nor the East, with India, China and the Middle East. Among one of the biggest projects being developed in this union is the $22 billion port in Kenya, known as the Lamu Port, which will be the biggest in the continent upon construction. There is also the expansion of all major airports in the region and the attraction of international companies such as Google, Toyota and Coca-Cola, bringing lots of better paying jobs. And don't think this is just talk. Out of the planned 286 high priority projects for the years to come, 35 of them are already completed and doing their job as expected. The 16th meeting of the EAC Sectoral Council on Transport, Communication and Meteorology, held in Kampala, was informed that the completed projects are in diverse sectors including railways, ports, roads, energy and airports. Likewise, 106 projects, in other words 36% of all projects, are at an advanced stage of the project development cycle, having secured funding for construction, and notably, a significant number of projects are still at the very early stages. This is all exciting in my opinion. Finally, Africa will begin to show its worth to the world and prove that it can compete with any and everyone at the world's biggest stages. Hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you liked it, subs if you loved it, and thanks for watching it. Obrigado.